25th of September, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos.
Fine, thank you. Good morning again. As Lou mentions, Rabbi Shlomo Furst here, Shiva Samanachi, Yerushalayim Care of Zoom. We are taking a little bit of a digression as Rosh Hashana is 1 week away and a day, about the year of Rosh Hashana. So a little bit preparation for the Tefillas of Rosh Hashana. Yeah, if you have your mocks, or actually with a siddur for what we're going to do today, even a regular siddur would be, because we're going to go through the additions that we make during the Surs Temei Tshuva, the 2 days Rosh Hashanah, 7 days in between, including one Shabbos somewhere along the line, and then Yom Kippur, 7 days of Tshuva. So we make certain insertions during the Amida, not only during the week, but on Yom Tov and Shabbos as well. So if you have your either your matzah or you have, like I said, a siddur is also sufficient. We can start with the beginning of them. As the very first insertion is at the toward the end of the first of the bracha, Birkas Avos of the Amida. That would say Zechreinu L'chaim. Yeah. So I would like to read. Would like to read it, and then we're going to think a little bit about these things that we're saying here. In some ways, they have to see there's some repetitions.
Right. Let's see. Zachrenu l'chaim, melech hafetz l'chaim, v'chasvenu b'sefer ha'chaim, l'man cha Elokim chayim. So remember us for life, King who desires life, and inscribe us in the book of life for your sake, God of life.
Okay, so now with this statement, I would maybe like to contrast to begin what is the whole point of the very first word Zechreno, Zecharon, when we're addressing Kadosh Baruch Hu with this bakasha, with this request, Zechreno L'chaim, we should be remembered. Literally, Zechreno, Zikaron is a memory or a remembrance, right? And so we should be remembered. We should be recalled. L'chaim. We say in the Yaliyavoy, if you look at the Yaliyavoy, you're familiar with it. We say Elkeinu v'Elkeinu, we say Ya'ale v'Yavo v'Yikir v'Yireh v'Yiratzeh v'Yishma v'Yapakeinu v'Yizacher, right? V'Yizacher zichronenu u'fiktunenu. Right, so we have a double expression, Yizecher Zichronenu Ufikudenu. So that itself is a double expression of the same thing. Our memory should be remembered, right? Should be remembered. We should be ufikdunein, and we should have a pikuda. Pikuda is like a redemption. And we say v'zichron avosenu, v'zichron Mashiach ben David, v'zichron Yushalayim Yerichad, v'zichron kolam to base Israel. And then it goes. We continue on. So we mention this expression of zichron is very profuse. It's very much repeated in particularly in the Yaliyavoy, and here we see also this question Zachrenu L'chaim, right? So if we try and understand the source of this, where do we have a source in maybe in Tanakh of a zecher So so if you remember, um, in the in the um, in the Musaf, right? The Musaf of Rosh Hashanah, we have three sections in the Musaf of Rosh Hashanah. We have Malchus, Zochronos, and Shofros, right? So if you look at those, again, if you have your Makser, that'll be very helpful, especially in this point. Um, um, you have you have that section of the under Zechronos. It's in the middle of the Musaf for Rosh Hashanah there.
Is it grown out? Yes.
Anyone want to read? Want to start reading that?
I'm not sure where you are. I see Musaf, but you're at Zichronos. I don't
It
see.
starts Ata Zocher Maaseh Olam.
Is it after the Shemon Esrei?
It's in the middle of the Musaf Shmon Esrei.
Ah, okay. Zocher. Let's see.
Matt, did you find it?
I have it, yeah.
Lou, did you find it yet?
No, I found it.
Okay.
Zocher Maaseh Olam Ufo Cade Kol Yitzarei Kedem. Okay, you remember the deeds in the universe and recollect all the creations that you fashioned of old. L'fenecha niglu kol ta'lumos v'hamon nis taros she mibereshis. And before you are revealed all the hidden things and the multitude of mysteries since the beginning.
Okay, so let's just review this again. Ata zocher maaseh olam ufuked kol yitzurei kedem lefineche niglu kol ta'alumos hamoin hanistorois mishabresis. So zocher, see what when to the human mind, when the human is going to be uh, recall or remember, it's sort of like they're looking in the past. They're looking in the past as to what happened. But that doesn't really apply accurately to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, where past, present, and future doesn't exist. Everything is just existence. There's no past, present, and future. So the application of this word Zaycher Masei Olam, how do we understand that?
Well, I've heard it said that since Hashem never forgets anything, we have to understand the idea of remembering differently. We should think of it as focus your attention. But that doesn't really help me so much, because you could say the same thing. Hashem doesn't need to focus his attention. His attention is already focused.
Right.
He already knows
Exactly.
about the deeds of that created the universe and everything he fashioned. He doesn't have to focus his attention on it. So it doesn't really help me.
Right. Very good. That's one of the questions here. So let's put it like this. In all these requests, which we started off today, for example, Zachreinu L'chaim, and then we went to the Yali Yavoy, and we saw the many references of Zichron of Yerushalayim, Zichron of Ukdenu. We are, the way I understand it, we are asking through these requests that Hashem pay attention to us. That true, the Kadosh Baruch Hu, there's no necessity of a Kadosh Baruch Hu paying attention, focusing, concentrating. Those things are only possible by humans and beings which are lacking perfection. But a Kadosh Baruch Hu lacks no perfection. Right? There's complete all knowledge at all times. Complete all knowledge at all times. So I think these expressions are primarily for us, that we're not saying that we have to focus our attention on the Kadosh Baruch Hu. That goes without saying. But how do we focus our attention on the Kadosh Baruch Hu? By our realization that a Kadosh Baruch Hu is expecting us, especially on these days of Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur and the days in between, that we should be directing our attention towards Him. That the Rambam in Hilchos Shofar, he mentions that the shofar is designed to wake people up from their slumber. That during the course of the year, people have a tendency to fall into routine and to take things very nonchalantly, and especially in their loyalties and the service of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And they have now, during these 10 days of tshuva, to refocus their attention. And the primary tool which is used to refocus our attention is the blowing of the shofar on the first 2 days of Rosh Hashana. So by refocusing our attention, right? So these words that we're saying, Zarcheinu L'chaim, meaning we're trying to, by using these words, focus our attention on the Kadosh Baruch Hu. That Kadosh Baruch Hu certainly remembers us. He certainly, right, knows and is all knowing of all the things we know. He knows more about ourselves than we do, right? So it's really superfluous to have and ask and request that a Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to focus his attention, because that's not necessary. But what is necessary is that we focus our attention on a Kadosh Baruch Hu. So how are we going to do that? So if we are asking for a Kadosh Baruch Hu, so to speak, in the words that we use, in the prayers that we use, that he should focus his attention on a Kadosh Baruch Hu, that forces us automatically to focus ourselves on a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Let's continue on. I think we'll see that it'll come through in the rest of the musaf that we're saying over here. Let's continue on with the next few sections of this Ataz Zocher Maaseh Olam. Go ahead, Luke. Continue on.
Before we continue, I just wanted to share a thought.
Yeah.
Popped into my mind as you were speaking. Maybe we could read this. Hashem, let us remember together. Like you're with your buddy, and you say to your buddy, "Ah, you remember those good times we had? Remember when I poked you in the ribs and you laughed until you got silly or whatever?" And you remember together and build a camaraderie. Maybe that's the way we could read this. Let us remember all the good things you've done for us. Let us remember what the creations that you've made, etc.
Let's see. Could you clarify a little bit more? I think I know what you're saying, but I just want to make sure. Try and clarify a little bit more, please.
I'm combining together the idea that you said that it's we who should remember, but what our words are saying is, Hashem, you remember. So I'm just thinking that one way to build a relationship with somebody is to engage in an activity with them. So the activity could be remembering. Let's review, these things that you did when you created the universe. Let's review the things that you fashioned. How wonderful the world is. Blah 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 blah.
I think, that's a thing. It's sort of, that's what I'm trying to get at here. I think we're going to see all of the things we're going to mention now. These are for us really to recall these things. We should remind ourselves of all these things. Obviously, HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows everything we're asking from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As I said before, that's superfluous. Hashem knows all these things. It's not his HaKadosh Baruch Hu's focus and concentration is not dependent on our requests for that, but for us to focus our attention, right? It's since we're asking for these things, that's going to automatically bring it to mind that we should remember these things.
Right.
I think that's what I think is happening over here. Let's see further. Let's go further in the prayer over here.
Okay. Ki ein sicha.
Shicha. There's not any forgetfulness.
Shicha. Livnei Pisei Kavodecha, Ve'ein Nistar Mineged Enecha. Because there is no forgetfulness before you. I'm sorry, before the throne of your glory. And there is nothing hidden from before your eyes. Ata zocher es kol ha-mifla, v'gam kol ha-yitzur lo nichad mimecha. You remember all the deeds and also all the formations are not hidden from you. So this is kind of emphasizing what we just said. We just said, remember all this, and then we said, and we know that you don't forget anything.
Right, so if Hashem's not forget anything, doesn't need to be. If Hashem doesn't forget anything, doesn't have to be reminded to about something, right?
Right. So Hashem, remember all this stuff because there's no forgetfulness before you. That would be a contradiction if we didn't have our explanation.
Very good. Right, very, very good.
Hakol galui v'yadua lifanecha Hashem Elokeinu tzofeh umabit ad sof kol hadoros. Everything is revealed and known before you, Hashem, our God, who scrutinizes and perceives until the end of all generations. I'm not sure why that's coming in here.
So let's see. So Pharaoh mabit ad sof kol hadoros. This is actually including an element of the future here now as well. Hakol galui yadua lefenecha Hashem Elokeinu. So Pharaoh mabit ad sof kol hadoros. Till the end of humanity, right? Kadosh Baruch Hu, Sofer. First of all, what's the difference between Sofer and Mabit? These are two complementary terms over here. Sofer has an element of looking with a certain expectation, no?
Uh-huh.
And Mabit is a sort of an intense observation. So Kadosh Baruch Hu is looking expectantly and observing very intently. Until all the generations come to an end. And what does that add to what is adding something out? This is a new element. What is this add? What is this element adding here? This is an element of history. Kadosh Baruch Hu, human history is, we're making a statement here, which is basically saying that Kadosh Baruch Hu is intently interested and analyzing human history. We shouldn't think that our actions, either individually or collectively, are inconsequential. Again, I think we can apply the same theme over here. This is a statement for us. This is a statement which is supposed to emphasize to us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is looking hopefully and intently at human history, how it's unfolding until its very end. That's a statement which is relevant to us. It's not a statement which is relevant to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in and of itself. This statement is something which should reinforce in us the responsibility and the status that we as humans have. The fact that we're humans, right, that gives us a special status, gives us special responsibility, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is looking intently and expectantly for those responsibilities to be fulfilled. All right, let's continue. Let's continue on to the next sentence.
He savi chok zikaron he paked kol ruach v'nafesh v'hi zacher ma'asim rabim v'hamon brios v'ein tachlis, because you will bring a decree for a remembrance to be remembered, every spirit and soul that will be remembered, the deeds, the abundant deeds, and the multitude of the creation without limit. That's a little bit hard to understand.
Okay, I mean, first of all, this first thing that gets me here is chok zikaron. What is this? Well, that's what bothers me. What's hard for you to understand in this, Lou?
The abundant deeds of the multitude of people without limit. I'm not sure what that's getting at. There's a lot of people and they do a lot of things. So what?
So again, let's see. Kisavi kok zikaron lehifkid lehipaked kol ruach v'nefesh lezacher masei rabim v'hamon brios le'ein tachlis. These great multitudes we call ruach v'nefesh. Lihipaked, first of all, lihipaked, call ruach v'nefesh. See, maybe we should let's take a step back for a moment. The whole day of Rosh Hashanah is called, right, Yom HaZikaron.
Right? So maybe going on the theme I brought up before, it's a day when we get together with Hashem and we review all of the good things between us. So remember becomes review. Go over those things for the purpose of refreshing them in our mind, not Hashem's mind.
Mhm. Okay. See, the day of Rosh Hashanah. I'm gonna maybe reinforce what you're saying, Lou. So Rosh Hashanah corresponds to the day that Adam Rishon was created. The same day he was created, he was placed in Gan Eden. He was told not to eat from the Eitz Hadas. He transgressed that commandment, and he was decreed upon him death. He was driven from from Gan Eden. So this day of Rosh Hashanah, it aside from our individual remembrances of what we have done during the past year, or even including everything we've done in our whole lives, but there's a remembrance of what Amon Rishon did on that first day. That's what corresponds that from the very beginning, Shemi Bereshis, from the very beginning, Kadosh Baruch Hu is well, the words we're saying is that Kadosh Baruch Hu is bearing in mind what took place from the very beginning. But really, what we are trying to do for ourselves is to recall what took place from the very beginning. And that's how it continues. Let's go further, another sentence or two. Mereshis.
Mireshis, Kazos, Hodata, Omila Fanim, Osa, Gilisa. From the beginning, this has been made known and from before you.
I want to clarify a minute. Mereshis Kazos Hodata. The Kazos is going what? On the Mereshis or is going on the Hodata?
I think it's going on Mereshis. Like this creation you have made known. No, that doesn't make sense.
That's right. Yeah, that's the problem over here.
Yeah.
What is Kazos going?
So Kazos means like this. The question is, what is this? Maybe it's going on the previous sentence. But that doesn't seem to really make sense either.
Let's see. Sometimes this is based on a pasuk. Let me see here. Uh, uh, Not a pasuk. Uh, All right. First of all, doesn't seem to be a pasuk. Um, no, this is not exactly a pasuk. Um, second. Magid Mereshis Achris. Ach Mereshis Kazos Hodata. Ach. Ach.
Excuse me.
Mereshis Kazois Hodata. They bring down, it's brought down, this is similar to a pasuk in Yirmiyah. Sorry, Yeshaya, Mem base test. 1 second, let me take a look here. 1 second, Yeshaya Mem base test. Showing us in a bar. Okay. So okay, there is that pasuk, or a minute or two. Mereshis kazos hodata, meaning apparently based on this beginning, you're being informed based upon this beginning. Hodata, that it's being made known to you. It's being known to you based on this beginning. Because of this beginning, it's being made known to you.
What is it?
That's still not clear. When it says Hodata, right? Hodata, what are we being informed about? All right, that's okay. That's not clear. All right, let's see. Wow, it's almost 10 o'clock. All right, I'll tell you. Let's take a break here. Um, um, and well, let's remind ourselves to pick up from this point tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. I'm putting a marker here.
Fine. Okay. Yeah. I tell you, I feel a little bit funny. I mean, if I didn't start looking into these prayers, I probably would have just said these words and sort of make believe I know what they mean, but I realize I don't really know much about what they mean at all.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I think about it when I'm davening that, what am I doing? I'm saying these words, Hashem, you brought out the stars and you made the constellations and, why am I saying these things? It's, it's difficult for me.
Mhm. Okay, let's try and work on it. Well, and try and focus on this point tomorrow. Again, remind me to start with this Mereshis Kazos Hodata.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay, very good.
Sky glue.
We'll take a little break. Start Mr. Brucia shortly, okay?
Okay.
okay, sounds good.
Thank you, Lou.